Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Bane bringing you gaming goodness, and we are starting Death Wizards. Yes, battle number 1. This is going to be the assault on the village. The village is here. Now, we did roll up some random terrain. We rolled up a forest here. I didn't use any of the special rules, but they will provide cover. We had 2 pools down the bottom here. I think I rolled up special rules for these. They were deep water, so if you move onto these, you've got to make a roll of d6. On a 6, you have to stop your movement. Not going to affect my spirits, but it may affect my necromancer, and it will definitely affect the villagers. Up on the top, this quadrant here, we rolled up to have a shrine. Again, I didn't do anything special for the shrine because I wanted to keep the first battle as simple as possible, but you can roll up for kind of unique quantities or unique elements as to what the shrine is. But it does have one ability where if I can get my necromancer, I think within 1 inch, I'll double check, I can roll a d6 as an action. If I get a 4+, I can actually get some necromantic energy. But it's only once per game, so I've got to be a little bit careful, but I think I do want to do that. Also on the front of the shrine, I have the turn dice, or turn die. This is going to tell me which turn it is. I sometimes forget to, update that. So again, be warned. And then down here we have the village. Now the game says to put 3 buildings. Got to admit, using the size of the board that they recommend, this is 22 by 30. You can't actually fit very large buildings inside a quadrant, especially when there's like 3 of them. So I've actually selected 3 of my smaller buildings. All the buildings that you see here are actually from Dave Graffam, Papercraft. The pools are just images I found on the internet that I printed out. And the trees, well, I think they were cheap ones from Temu. Shh, don't say Temu. Right, at the back here, you can't see them on camera, but I do have a couple of self-made reference sheets. Things like activation order, conditions, activation steps, the actions I can take during activation. Just some sort of quick reminders so I don't have to keep checking the book. And these are more sort of focused on the first couple of games. Once I've played it a few times, normally things become second nature. But for the first couple of games, quick reference sheets are very useful. Over to the side, I've got all my dice, I've got all my counters, I've got my dice rolling tray, which is on another camera. Hopefully I can link these up properly. But yes, we are ready to go. Now, you probably can't see them at the moment, but I will put up a picture. My warband, or my horde, is currently over here in the forest, in my deployment zone. So at the back, I have my necromancer. What's his name again? I can't remember. Pizentios, the necromancer, the spirit caller. Next to him, again, you can't see him, but he's in there somewhere, is the wraith. And then at the front here, we have our 2 specters. We have Beth and we have Lita. Now, Lita is going to be the one with the big hair, and Beth is going to be the one with like the bandana. And then down here in this deployment zone, we have the villagers. Now, I rolled really badly for this. For my first mission, for my first battle, for my necromancer, I actually rolled the maximum number of enemies, which is kind of worrying. So there are 4 warriors, and I put the warriors at the front because in the activation order, they will activate first. So I didn't think it would be fair if I put them behind the villagers and then the villagers would kind of inhibit their movement. So I've put the 4 villagers at the front, and then behind them we have warriors at the front, villagers at the back. So we're up against 7 enemies, and this is really worrying. If I was playing a horde master, it wouldn't be quite so bad, but as a spirit caller, we can only use spirits. And spirits, the creatures start at rating 2. So I've only got 3 minions, only 2 specters and a wraith. However, the spirit caller does have a legacy power which allows them to summon more spirits. It costs 3 energy per rating. So if I summon another specter or a shadow, it's going to cost me 6 energy. Now that is expensive. You do regenerate 3 energy at the start of every turn, but that's still quite expensive. Hence the reason why I think I'm going to go straight to the shrine and try and get some extra energy. But I'm thinking that the best thing that I can do to begin with is to sort of call another spirit to the battle. So then I could have a wraith, 2 specters, plus either a specter or a shadow. And again, I'm thinking of getting another specter because they have the ranged attacks. Right, without further ado, let us get on with it. We are assaulting the village. I have to kill or force off the board, because villagers can actually run away, all of these before the end of turn 5. So yeah, that's a thing. Now, in skirmish mode, where you play against other people, you have to do the whole bartering thing with your necromantic energy to try and get first turn. Every person kind of puts forward a certain amount of energy to try and get the first turn. In story mode, when you're playing against the AI, you don't do that. Your necromancer automatically goes first. You can activate the necromancer plus up to 4 rating worth of undead. Then the AI will activate 2 models, and the sequence is warriors before villagers. After 2 of these have activated, it comes back to us, and again it follows the same sequence, necromancer plus up to 4 ratings worth. So if I can summon another spirit, I should be able to get 3 activations for my necromancer. Now, got to keep in mind, I've got a limited amount of energy, so I can cast my powers a limited amount of time. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I took the rotting curse power, because it was cheap, like the budgie. Yeah, I can't sort of summon spirits every activation, because at the end of the first turn, I'll have no energy left. Now, in the previous video, I did actually forget to raise my stats by 1 point. When you create a character, when you create a necromancer, you choose one of the stat blocks, and then you can actually add 2 points. 1 point to each of 2 stats. That's like a bonus. I forgot to do that in the previous video. I did put a note during the editing, but I did add +1 to my defense and +1 to my necromantic energy. So now my necromancer has 6 defense and 18 energy. But like I say, if you use your energy in every activation, if you use your powers every time you activate your necromancer, that energy ain't going to last long. Right. I've been talking for long enough. Let us get on with it. So first of all, we are going to start by activating our warband, our horde, and we're going to be trying to take out the villagers and the warriors. Now, my specters do have a ranged attack, but it's only 10 inches. Now, because they're under a spirit caller, they do actually get a +1 to their move. So their movement is effectively 9, and they've got a range of 10. Now, the thing is, I don't know if I can actually reach the villagers. I could move, let's say I'll move 9 inches to here. Oops, and I've just knocked over some haystacks. There you go. And then I could potentially shoot, I could. So I could potentially shoot that villager there. I think that's Nelly. But then I would be fairly close to these guys. If they do like double moves, they can actually get pretty close to me. But the thing is, I've only got 5 turns and I've got to kill 7 enemies. So I think I've got to be a little bit aggressive in nature in terms of what I'm going to be doing here. So what I'm going to do, I've got to activate up to 3 rating. Sorry, up to 4 rating. What am I talking about? So I could either activate my 2 specters or my wraith. I can't activate the wraith and a specter because then that would be 5 rating and it's not allowed. So what do I want to do first? Do I want to activate the specters or do I want to activate the wraith? I think I'm going to activate the specters first, I think. But before I do that, I'm going to activate my necromancer. Right. So as an action, you move and then you do either attack, move, or in the necromancer's case, use the necromantic power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my necromancer. Now my necromancer has a movement of 5 only, so they don't benefit from that +1. So we're going to move the necromancer 5 inches into the forest, because while he's in the forest, he gets a +1 to his defense against shooting attacks. So I'm going to move the necromancer 5 inches. So he's between the trees here. I'm going to say that because he's actually in contact with a tree, again, I don't know whether you can see on the camera. You can't actually see on the camera, but he is actually right next to the tree there. I'm going to actually say that they're not going to have line of sight, because I'm thinking that if you're in sort of contact with a tree, you're going to be, hiding behind it kind of thing, and the trees may not be that thin. So I'm thinking that if I'm actually physically in contact with a tree, it counts as being kind of like not in line of sight. I think that's how it's going to work, because otherwise these forests ain't very beneficial. Right, so my necromancer has moved. You can't see him on the camera, but he is in there behind that tree there. But he is now going to use his legacy power, which is call to the other side. As an action, the necromancer can summon a spirit to fight until the end of the game. The cost is 3 energy per rating. So I've got this big, lovely, big D20 here, which I'm going to be using to keep track of my necromantic energy. So I'm starting with 18. So this is going to cost me at least 6, because 3 per rating. If a spectre or shadow is going to cost me 6, a wraith is going to cost me 9, a ghost will cost me 9, and a banshee is going to cost me 12. Don't want to summon a banshee. That's all my energy gone. So I'm going to be using 6 points. So that's going to bring my energy down to 12. So I've now got 12 energy, but I am summoning a rating 2 spirit. Now, what do I want to summon? Do I want to summon another spectre or a shadow? I'm thinking another spectre, because that will give me another ranged attack, and I can kind of keep my distance a little while longer. So, going to the collection that I painted, we're going to be bringing another spectre. This is the one with the wheel and skeleton on top, so I can easily distinguish. So the spectre has to be summoned. Where does it say? Within 3 inches of the necromancer and more than 1 inch away from all enemies. The summoned spirit may be activated during a later activation during the term in which it was summoned. Okay. Now, I don't get this added to my warband. It's going to disappear at the end of the game. But what it's actually going to do, it's actually going to allow me to get another activation. So it's got to be within 3 inches. All right. I'm going to put within 3 inches. If I put it there, they're going to see it. I think for the moment, I'm just going to put it... just going to put it right behind the necromancer for the time being. So again, it's right behind that tree, so it should be blocked by line of sight. So that's the necromancer. So now we have 4 undead minions. The wraith doesn't have a ranged attack, so the wraith's got to kind of get in there. And the wraith has a movement of... If I run, it has a movement of 18. So I could bring the wraith all the way over to the other side of the building, because I can actually go through buildings because they're all ethereal apart from my necromancer. So I could technically bring the wraith over to here. But then I've got to wait for 7 activations to see whether any of them actually come round and whack me. I'd rather be the aggressor, to be very honest. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to activate my spectres over here. So the first one, I'm going to remove as close as I can and still have line of sight to about there. So this is Lita. So Lita is going to move all the way over here, over to there. And then she is going to make a shooting attack, within 10 inches, against Nelly. Now, I do have little tokens to show when models have activated. I'm not going to bother with the Necromancer because the Necromancer activates every time, but I've got these little markers from one-page rules. Right, now, when you're doing attacks, you're going to be rolling a number of D10 equal to your offense. And then the target number is going to be the defending model's defense. Sometimes there will be certain things that tell you to use resist instead of defense. Sometimes there will be things that can modify, for example, things such as cover. But it's a clear shot. She's not got any cover whatsoever. And a villager, right? Villagers have a defense of 3. That is Lita, right? Yep, that's Lita. Lita has an offense of 5. Now, her special ability, Black Bolt. When dealing damage to an already wounded enemy, that enemy is slowed until the end of turn. So a -2 movement. Now, all these little things, I'm going to keep track of on a piece of paper, because it's going to get very confusing if I put loads of tokens down and I can't remember what the tokens are going to be for. So I've actually got a little bit of paper here. I don't know whether you can see it, but it's got all their names on it. So I'm just going to keep track of all their temporary conditions on there. So Lita has an offense of 5. So we're going to be rolling 5 10-sided dice, and I need to roll 3s or higher. Now, because this is a standard offense roll, any 10s will count as criticals and will do extra damage. For things such as the necromantic powers, unless it says so, you don't consider the critical hits as being extra damage. Right, so we're rolling 5 dice, 5 d10s. We need to get 3 plus as many as possible. Now, villagers have a durability of 8, so unless I get loads of 10s, I'm not going to be able to kill her in one go. So, Lita lets forth a blast of necromantic power, slime, and okay, well, I mean, I miss one, but I do get a crit, and I've got, oh, hello. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. Now, I could use wound markers, but I'm actually going to be using these like magic spin down dice. I've got a bunch of red ones, which I'm going to be using for the enemies. I've got a bunch of black ones, which I'm going to be using for my minions. But yeah, so villagers start with 8 durability or life. I've just done 5 damage, so Nelly is down to 3. So I'm going to put that next to Nelly. That was an amazing shot. That was a really good shot. Nicely done, Lita. Yes. So that is my first model's activation. What are we doing next? Next, we're going to be activating Beth. Now, I don't think Beth will be able to get a similar shot, because I think if I move 9, she can get to, where's the thing? There. She can get to about there. Can I also get, oh, yes, she can. She can get a shot on Beth. Could she? No, I think that's, I think the building is going to be blocking the shot against the warrior Clovis there. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll do the same thing and just get rid of, oh God, what's her name? Nelly. Get rid of one of the villagers straight away. That's one thing, that's one less thing for us to worry about. So I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing with Beth. So she can basically move to there. Move the model. Woo-hoo! So she can get to there. And just in range, and again, I don't think the building's not blocking me because I can draw a straight line from center to center. Excellent. So Beth is also activating. Again, we'll put another counter there. Now, again, because these are both ethereal and flying, they're not affected by the pool. So again, we're going to be rolling 5 dice, and we need 3s to hit. Nelly only has 3 durability left, so I just need 3 hits. So, come on, Beth. That's a miss, but we do get 4 hits. So Beth goes down. Nelly goes down. Beth's still Still perfectly fine. We'll leave the figures on the board for the moment. We've got a little pool of blood there. A little pool of blood that I'm using in a lot of my games. So Nellie goes down. Do I keep calling her Beth? Nellie goes down in a pool of blood. She's been blasted apart by this necrotic energy. And we have our first kill. One villager down. Six more heroes to go. Now, if my necromancer was within 3 inches, the necromancer can actually absorb the soul and actually absorb some energy from that kill. But my necromancer is so far away, it's not applicable. So I have activated 2 of my models, total of 4 rating. So now it is the villagers' turn. And they've just seen Nellie, one of the villagers, one of the people that they're supposed to be protecting, go down. What are the warriors going to do? Now, the way that I've arranged them, I've put like 2 at the front. I think the 2 at the front are Scowl and Zuza. Behind them is Clovis and Troy. And then we've got Piper and Paul left. Paul and Piper. But I've done it in this way so that I can basically activate from the front to the back. So I've activated 4 rating. It is now the hero's turn. The sequence is Ranger, Priest, Paladin, Wizard, Warrior, Rogue, Villager. So the villagers always go last. So we're going to activate the first 2 warriors. Now, when you're activating a hero, you have to reference their stat sheet. I don't know whether you can see this. I'll put it up here. So for a warrior, we're going to be rolling a d10 to see what action they do. If the action is impossible, they're going to default to the defensive stance, which is the first one. But we're going to see what happens. So let's move these out of the way. I'm going to try and use black for my guys and white for the heroes whenever possible. So we're rolling a d10. Who are we going to do first? Let's do Scowl first. What's Scowl going to do? He gets a 3. Strike. The warrior will attack the nearest enemy. If there's no enemy within 1 inch, it will move its full move to the nearest enemy and make an attack. If it cannot move and attack such an enemy, it will move and then use its action to move towards the closest enemy. So basically this guy is not close enough to do anything. Movement is 6. He's not going to be able to reach anybody. But he can double move. So he can then move 12 inches. Now it says you'll attack the nearest enemy. It doesn't say within line of sight. It just says nearest enemy. So maybe he senses the spectres over here because they are the closest. Over here, the necromancer is about 14. Spectres are a lot closer. So Scorn, I can't remember his name, is actually going to be running towards, that is Lita, isn't it? So he's going to be running 12. I think he's going to make contact, isn't he? So yeah. So he has to use his double move, which means he can't actually make an attack, but he does actually run. Try not to move the buildings. He does actually run around. Oh, I should have. No. Okay, if I had placed my Spectre further back on the pool, then he would have had to make a roll to see whether he can actually move through the water. Maybe I'll do that next turn. Maybe move back. Because as soon as he goes onto the water, he has to make a roll to see whether he stops. But in this case, he won't. But he can't actually attack this turn. Right, the second hero is going to be Zuza, which is our warrior princess at the front there. What are they going to do? So we're rolling. We get a 4. And a 4 is also the same thing, strike. Again, they're not close enough to actually, she's not close enough to actually attack anybody. But again, I think she's going to be doing the same thing. Oh, they're going to double up. Oh no, they're going to double up on, Lita. Oh no. So she's going to run around here and she's got enough move. Oh, technically she's on the pool, but she's going to move there anyway. That's the end of her move. So I don't think I need to roll this time. But maybe the next turn I may have to move or roll to see whether they can move. And now we've activated 2 heroes. It's now back to me. So again, I can activate my Necromancer and up to 4 rating. Now, I have the Spectre that I summoned, and I have my Wraith, Aussie. I can't activate both of them in this activation because it'll be a total of 5. So I've got to pick one or the other. I'm thinking that I'm going to activate the Necromancer and this Spectre, and maybe get the Spectre to do a shot down here. And then when these two get drawn out, I can then bring in the Wraith. But again, I think the Wraith might be too far away to actually make an attack this turn. Right, I am going to I don't think the Necromancer can get close enough to the shrine in this activation. Let me check. It had to be within 6 inches because movement of 5, I've got to be within 1 inch. So no, I can't. So this turn, I can't do that action where I can try and get energy from the shrine. So maybe I can move and then use my ranged attack or my power, which is negative bolt. I mean, I've also got Rotting Curse, which only costs 2. Negative bolt costs 3. Enemy model is cursed for the rest of the game, which means they take 1 damage every time they activate. It's not huge, but it could make a big difference. But it's only D3 damage per success. I'm rolling 4 dice. With negative bolt, I'm going to be rolling 4 dice. 1 success is D10 damage. If I get 3 or more successes, I'm doing D10 plus D6 damage. All right, so I think I'm going to activate the Spectre first because the Spectre's range is less. So the Spectre has to basically get on the box. If they're on the boxes, they're within range. So I think I'll do that. So I think the rules say that if a piece of terrain is like 1 inch or less, they can move on top with no penalty or anything else. So it's 1 inch, so it should be fine. I mean, the Spectre's got plenty of movement. They can move 9. So the Spectre is going to move 9 inches, which will place them on top of the box here. The nameless Spectre, because this is only a rental. And they're going to do their Black Bolt against... this Clovis is the only one in range. So this Spectre is going to fire their Black Bolt against Clovis. Now, Warriors have a much higher defense. The Warrior's defense is 3 plus 1 per rating. So these are rating 2 in this scenario. So the Warriors have a defense of 5. Now, what really worries me is their offense. Their offense is 4 plus 1 per rating. So 5 dice again for the Black Bolt. And the defense of the Warrior is 5. So now I've got to roll 5s or higher. Okay. Now, this is not a wounded enemy, so nothing extra is going to happen. What do we get? Oh, yes. So we're getting a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. Okay, really, really good. Warriors have 10 plus 3 per rating. So Warriors have 16 durability, and I've just done 6 damage. So again, we're taking one of these. So 16 minus 6 is 10. So Clovis is down to 10 durability. Now, if I can also aim with my Necromancer at Clovis, I could potentially take him out, because if I get 1 success, I'm doing D10 damage. Ooh, that could be good. Getting rid of a villager and a warrior in the first turn, that would be really good. Right, but where am I going to move my Necromancer? He's only got 5 inches. The power necromantic bolt or necrotic bolt. Let me just double check, so I'm not saying it the wrong thing. Negative bolt, it's neither. Negative bolt has a range of 18 inches. I mean, Clovis will definitely be in range, but where can I go to get line of sight and still be behind? Because I want to keep the Spectre as being closer, because then they'll charge the Spectre instead of me. So I'm going to move 5 inches will get me to... Okay, so 5 inches will get my Necromancer to here. Again, I'm not close enough to the shrine to try and draw energy, but I can get line of sight on Clovis. So my Necromancer is going to fire a negative bolt at Clovis, it's going to cost 3 energy. So my energy is now down to 9, which is a little bit worrying. Where's the 9? Yeah, this isn't a spin down dice. It's just a normal dice. So I've only got 9 energy left. Next activation, I can move and then try the shrine thing. So I may not be spending any more energy next turn. I also do have the ability or the power bolster undead, where I can boost my guys. That costs 4. So that's something to consider for later. Right, definitely within range, 18 inches. And Clovis is 11, so no problems with range. Now, because this is a necromantic power, and it doesn't say otherwise, we have to use the opponent's resist as the target number. So for a warrior, the resist is actually lower, which is good. The resist is 3 + 1 per rating. So the resist is 5. Oh, it's the same as the defense. Okay. So we're going to be rolling against 5s. The negative bolt has a power dice of 4. So we're rolling 4 dice, and we need 5s or higher. Come on! Nuts. Oh, nuts. I just needed 1 more. Okay, well, fail. We get 2 hits, which means I do D10 damage. If I had got another hit, I would have been doing D10 plus D6. That's okay. It's okay. Right, so we're doing D10 damage. I need a 10 to take him out. Can I really be that lucky? Not if the dice gods have anything to say with it, right? So, D10 damage against Clovis, negative bolt, 5. Okay. So Clovis is now down to 5 life. Not looking very healthy at all, which is good. And that is the end of my activation, because I can't activate the Wraith as well, because he has a rating of 3, which would make it higher than the 4 that I am allowed, because I've already activated a 2. So that is the end of my activation. It is now the heroes, and again, warriors go first. So Clovis and Troy are going to be activating these last 2 remaining warriors. And we're going to be rolling to see what they do. Now, unfortunately, warriors don't have a runaway like the villagers do. So we're going to be rolling for who first? Let's do Clovis first, because he's a little bit angry, I think. We get an 8. That's not good. High is not good. The warrior makes an attack against all enemies within 1 inch. Nope. If no enemies are within 1 inch, it will move up to its full move to the nearest enemy, and then attack all enemies within 1 inch. Oh, that's not good. If it cannot move and attack such an enemy, it will move and then use its action to move towards the closest enemy. So again, double move. I don't think it can reach anybody with a single move. Warriors have a move of 6. So 6 inches, it can't get within 1 inch of anybody, so it's going to have to do a double move again. Now, I think it's about 9.5. That's about 9. But the thing is that technically this Lita, the Spectre, is closer than this one. But this Spectre is currently surrounded. This one isn't. So technically, Clovis wouldn't be able to get in contact with this one because it's all blocked. And these guys have been shooting at him. So I'm thinking common sense, the warrior wouldn't just run over this way. I think that he would actually run towards that Spectre there, because that technically would be the closest enemy. Well, technically this is, but like I say, he can't actually get there really. So I'm thinking that Clovis would actually charge over there. Maximum move of 12, so he will go over there and be ready to fight in the next activation. And then we have Troy. What's Troy going to do? Is he going to do the same thing, or is he going to do something different? We roll, we get a 1. All right, warrior. A 1 is a defensive stance. The warrior does not move and gains a +1 bonus to defense until the end of the turn. Okay. All right, and that's all he does. So another activation marker. Now, future games are not going to be this long. God, it's 40 minutes already. Future games are not going to be this long. This one is really long because I'm explaining everything. And this is still just the first turn. My God. Right. So that is the 2 heroes gone. Now it's back to me. Now, Clovis is within range of my necromancer. He's not within range. Oh, is he? Isn't? I don't think he's within range of my wraith. Ah, no, he's out. Oh, he's like 2 inches too far. Oh, I moved him a little bit. So my wraith can't physically attack him. Can my wraith? No, everything's just out of range of the wraith. Nuts. Because the wraith is melee only. However, he does have an ability that says Lost in Shadows. If completely on a terrain feature, no other model can draw line of sight if more than 3 inches away. I mean, pools are technically terrain features, right? I mean, am I bending the rules too much? If I move the wraith over to here, they can't target him, right? That's what the rules say, right? If completely on a terrain feature, no other model can draw line of sight if more than 3 inches away. And it is a terrain feature. Maybe like the reflection on the water kind of blocks him or blocks line of sight to him. So I could actually bring the wraith down to here and they can't draw line of sight. And then he can whack them next turn. Or I can move the wraith over to here. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Because then I'm not going to have villagers whack me because they've got ranged attacks. The villagers have got ranged attacks. So I'm going to do the double move for the wraith. So the wraith's actually going to move down easily. Can easily do it. So my wraith Aussie is going to move down to here. He's completely on a terrain feature. He's more than 3 inches away. Yep. So he's completely on the terrain feature. So nobody can draw a line of sight to him. Again, I'm thinking, because it says terrain feature, it doesn't physically say like big, high, or whatever, you know? So I'm thinking maybe the light, reflection of the light is kind of interfering with actually seeing his spiritual body kind of thing. Never mind. Right, Necromancer. Now, I don't really want to keep spending my energy. I want to kind of gain energy. So what I think I'm going to do with my Necromancer is move the Necromancer. Because again, the Necromancer can activate every time. So I'm thinking of moving the Necromancer closer to the shrine and then try to get necromantic energy. Now, he does have Draining Wave, range of 6. All non-spirit enemies within range suffer D3 damage per success, or D6 if they're heroes, and I'm rolling 3 dice. I mean, that would be nice if I could rush in here and kind of just kind of get everybody. But I think I'm going to try and get the energy first. Energy is important. So I'm going to move my Necromancer. I don't want to move the Necromancer too far away. I can move 5 inches. So I'm just going to move the Necromancer to here. I don't know whether you can see it on the camera. Yeah, you can just about see him. Okay, so I'm going to move the Necromancer here, so they're within 1 inch of the shrine. So I'm going to try and get some energy. Now the rules say raid for power. When a Necromancer moves within 1 inch of a shrine, instead of taking any other action, they may raid the shrine for power. If they do so, roll a d6. On a 4+, they gain D3 plus 1 necromantic energy. Any single necromancer may successfully raid a shrine no more than once per game. All right, so I need a 4+. That should be doable, shouldn't it? So we're getting our D6. 6! Right, we get D3 plus 1 energy. How much energy do we get? 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, we get 3 energy back. So the 9 becomes, again, this isn't a spin down, is it? 12! I'm back to 12 energy, which is very nice because at the end of this turn, start of next turn, I get another 3. Very, very nice. So I have activated the Wraith. I've activated my Necromancer. Now it is back to the heroes. There's only 2 heroes left because I did kill I did kill Nelly. So there's only 2 villagers left, Piper and Paul. Right, what are they going to do? Because Troy's just standing there. I will protect you. I will protect you. And hopefully they're both going to run away. Right, D10. We're using whites for the heroes whenever possible. So Piper is the lady at the front. Piper, Paul. Right, so Piper, what's Piper going to do? Now, the villagers do have a different action table. So I want ones, because 1 means they run away. We get a 3. Oh, close, but not close enough. Right, we get a 3. Get him! I can't really see. Okay. The villager will attack the nearest enemy it can see. If there is no enemy within range, it will move up to 5 inches and then make an attack. If it cannot move and attack such an enemy, it will move and then use its action to move towards the closest enemy, ending within 3 inches of another villager if possible. Okay. Well, they do have a ranged attack of 8 inches. So at the moment, they can't target anything. So they're going to have to move. But they can move up to 5 inches and shoot. So what I'm thinking is, again, I think technically Lita is the closest. 11. Oh, 11. They're both the same distance. I'm thinking that Piper would probably attack this one. Technically, because this one is on a raised platform and Clovis will probably not be blocking the shot as much. I'm thinking that over here, because there are 2 heroes in between Piper and the Spectre, she probably wouldn't be able to shoot them anyway. And again, this one is kind of blocked. The shot is kind of blocked anyway. Can't see that. So I'm thinking that Piper's going to shoot this, because I think as the Spectre is on a raised level, I think she can get a shot. Normally, if it was just next to each other, I wouldn't allow it. You can't shoot through allies, yeah? But I'm thinking because the Spectre's on this raised platform, I think it does allow a shot. So Piper is going to move 5 inches so she can get here. Bonk. So Piper's going to move there. Is she in range now? Yeah, just 7 inches. Okay, so she is in range. Okay, activated little token. Right, she's going to take a shot at this Spectre here. The unnamed, the temp. So Piper is going to shoot. They have an offense of 3, a range of 8. Okay, so she's going to be rolling 3 dice. Spectres have a defense of 4. Okay, so Piper's going to need to get 4s. Ooh, okay, phew. 1. So that Spectre is going to take 1 damage. So durability of a Spectre is 8. So that Spectre is down to 7. So we'll put a black die there. 7 durability left on that Spectre. That was quite lucky. Right. What is the other villager, the last remaining villager? Paul. What's Paul going to do? A 4. Exactly the same thing. So I'm thinking that Paul will do exactly the same thing. Now, he did start further away than Piper, so he may still be in range. Let's see. So he can get to there. Now, is he within range? Dang it, yes, by like 1/4 of an inch. Again, same thing. He has an offense of 3. The Spectre has a defense of 4. Oh, that's not so good. Oh, hang on. That's on its edge. Reroll that one. So we've got 2 hits and a miss. Okay, so 2 hits. So that Spectre goes down to 5 durability. Bump, bump. Now, if this Spectre gets too low, the Necromancer can actually, restore energy. You basically choose 1 friendly minion within range, which is 3 inches. Model is removed from play. They gain 3 energy per rating. So I could, if this Spectre actually gets too wounded, I could actually use one of my activations with the Necromancer to basically snuff it out, get back the energy, and then next turn I can call another one back at full health. Haha! Sneaky little strategy. We've only done 1 turn. This is one turn, and the video, okay, as I'm recording it, the video is like 50 minutes plus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video here. This is going to be part 1 of Battle 1. And then in the next video, part 2, we will continue with turn 2. Right, so at the moment, let's have a quick summary. Before we finish the video, let's have a quick summary of turn 1. Everything has activated. Everything has gone. One thing has died. Right, so the Spectres are in a little bit of trouble. They've now got 2 warriors coming against them. The Wraith is getting ready to kind of join that melee. The Spectre here has taken a bit of damage, but they're only a temporary one. Necromancer has just siphoned off a bit of energy from the shrine. These 2 villagers have moved and shot, and Troy, being the brave warrior that he is, brave Sir Robin, maybe I should have named him Robin, he's basically stood there, boosted his defense, which is now going to run out. And the rest of the heroes, Nelly, has passed away. So guys, that is turn 1. I'm thinking that maybe for the rest of the game, in the next video, I won't talk so much. I won't maybe explain so much, because I think you've got the gist of the mechanics here. The game is a lot faster than this. It doesn't take 45 to 50 minutes to play a turn. It's just that I'm explaining so much and I talk too much. But in video 2, we will continue. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video, part 2 of Battle 1, Death Wizards. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers.